Picture this. You're gliding through the terminal, boarding pass in hand, certain your carry-on is safe. It fits perfectly. You've packed like a pro. You've done this before. But as you step to the gate, the agent stops you, smiles politely, and pulls out a small digital scale. In 2025, this is the trap waiting for travelers. Because it's no longer about whether your bag fits in the overhead bin. It's about whether it weighs less than a bowling ball. Here's the shocker. Airlines are quietly enforcing weight limits as low as 15 pounds. At best, you might get 22. That's barely a laptop, a charger, and a pair of sneakers. Cross the line by even a single pound, and you're caught. The screen flashes red. The agent nods. I'm sorry, this has to be checked. And just like that, you're hit with a fee. $100. Sometimes more. No appeal. No grace. Just your wallet bleeding while the line behind you grows impatient. Why are they doing this? 2 reasons. First, fuel efficiency. Every pound shaved off saves airlines millions when jet fuel spikes. Second, profit. Many gate agents now earn bonuses tied directly to baggage fee revenue. Catching you isn't just policy, it's payday. That's not enforcement. That's entrapment. So how do you beat it? You prepare before you ever set foot in the terminal. Weigh your bag at home. A cheap luggage scale can save you hundreds. Shift heavy items, like laptops and power banks, into your personal item, because those usually slip by. And invest in travel gear designed with hidden weight distribution. Slim on the outside, but engineered with clever storage on the inside. Do this, and you'll sail past the gate, untouched by the scale. But don't relax just yet. Because even if your bag passes the weight test, your innocent water bottle could still betray you. You think you're safe. You emptied your water bottle before security, just like they tell you. You slide it onto the belt, smiling inside. It's empty. What could possibly go wrong? But the agent frowns. Your bag gets pulled aside. And suddenly, you're waiting while your belongings are unpacked in front of strangers. Here's the hidden reason. Stainless steel and aluminum bottles look like solid black blocks on X-ray scanners. They don't show what's inside. To the machine, your trusty hydro flask could be hiding anything. Explosives. Contraband. A mystery dense enough to require a manual inspection. And in 2025, agents don't have time to guess. If they can't clear it fast, they confiscate it. That $40 insulated bottle? Gone in an instant. Worse, the delay could cost you your flight if you're already cutting it close. So how do you avoid this humiliating slowdown? The fix is simple, but most travelers never think about it. Swap stainless steel for transparency. Bring a clear Tritan plastic bottle or, even better, a collapsible silicone one. They pass through scanners without suspicion, and they fold down to nothing once empty. No black block. No red flags. No delays. And here's another insider move. If you insist on metal, always remove the cap and hold it out empty in your hand. Agents can see it's safe, and you skip the full bag search. Because the truth is, it's not about water. It's about visibility. If they can't see through it, they won't trust it. You dodged the carry-on scale. You dodged the bottle trap. But don't exhale yet. Because the next rule lurking ahead could hit you even harder. And this time, it comes in the form of a harmless-looking powder. Picture this. You're hustling through security with your favorite protein powder tucked neatly into your carry-on. Maybe it's your pre-workout, maybe it's baby formula, maybe just instant coffee. You're thinking, it's sealed, it's fine. Then the agent stops you. They pull the container out. Their expression doesn't change. And in that moment, you're done. Here's the hidden truth most travelers don't know. In 2025, powders are one of TSA's biggest red flags. Anything over 12 ounces, about the size of a soda can, must be placed in a separate bin for inspection. And at some international airports, powders in large amounts are outright banned from carry-ons altogether. Why? Because powders are notoriously difficult to screen. They could be explosives. They could be chemicals. They could be disguised as something harmless. To the scanners, it's just a dense, suspicious blob. And when they can't clear it quickly, they default to the safest move, confiscation. Now imagine watching your $60 tub of supplements tossed into a gray bin, unrecoverable. Or worse, imagine missing your flight because you're stuck in secondary inspection while agents swab and test every grain. So what's the fix? Outsmart the rule. Never travel with large powder containers. Instead, pre-portion what you need into small travel packets, each one under 12 ounces. Baby formula. Single-serve bags. Protein powder. Split into individual scoops. Coffee. Stick packs. This way, nothing looks suspicious, nothing gets pulled, and you glide through. And here's another pro tip. Always declare powders when you're unsure. Agents are more forgiving if you're upfront. Hide it, and you'll look like a risk. It sounds unfair. It feels excessive. But in 2025, this is the battlefield. And if you lose, you don't just lose your powders. You risk losing your time, your money, your entire trip. You beat the scale. You dodged the water bottle. You slipped past the powder trap. But what if the thing that betrays you isn't food or fitness gear, but your own favorite fragrance? You're on your way to visit family, or maybe headed to a business meeting. In your bag sits a sleek glass bottle of perfume. Expensive. Luxury. The kind you bought duty-free or saved for a special occasion. And then, it's gone. Confiscated in seconds. No debate. No appeal. Just like that, your $150 designer fragrance disappears into a bin. Why? Because in 2025, airport security has tightened its grip on liquids, and perfumes are right at the top of the list. The official limit hasn't changed, 3.4 ounces, or 100 milliliters, but enforcement has become merciless. Anything larger gets flagged, no matter how fancy the brand or how sealed the packaging. Here's the real kicker. Agents don't care if it's brand new, shrink-wrapped, or duty-free sealed. To them, it's still a risk. A bottle of liquid that size could conceal explosive materials. And with global threats evolving, TSA and international security agencies have decided that perfumes are no exception. The result? Thousands of travelers losing expensive bottles every single day. Imagine watching your Chanel, Dior, or Creed, something you plan to gift or wear, tossed into a pile of liquid waste. Embarrassing. Costly. Heartbreaking. So how do you protect yourself? The fix is simple but crucial. Never travel with full-size fragrances in your carry-on. Buy travel-size versions, 30 milliliters or less, or decant your perfume into refillable atomizers designed for flights. They're cheap, discreet, and invisible to agents. This way, you keep your scent without risking your investment. And here's the insider move. If you absolutely must travel with full size, put it in your checked luggage, cushioned and sealed. Carry-ons are a no-go zone for anything over 100 milliliters. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about perfume. It's about liquid rules that don't bend, no matter how much you paid for the bottle.
You've beaten the scale. Dodged the water bottle. Outsmarted the powder. But the next trap isn't about beauty or luxury, it's about something as innocent as a piece of fruit. You're on the plane. The flight attendant hands you a shiny red apple with your meal. You eat half, tuck the rest into your bag, and think nothing of it. Hours later, you land, grab your luggage, and stroll toward customs. That's when it happens. An officer pulls you aside. They unzip your bag. And there it is, the innocent little apple you forgot about. You smile nervously. It's just fruit. But it doesn't matter. Because in 2025, that apple could cost you $300 or more in fines. Here's the reason: customs agencies worldwide have turned ruthless when it comes to agriculture rules. Even a single piece of fresh fruit, a packet of seeds, or a slice of cured meat is treated as a biological threat. With global food supply chains under pressure, countries are cracking down harder than ever to stop pests and diseases from crossing borders. And they're not guessing anymore. At major airports, AI scanners now detect organic matter inside your bag. That apple? That ham sandwich? It lights up on their screen like a warning flare. So when they find it, you pay. No excuses. The law says you should have declared it. And failing to declare, even accidentally, counts as smuggling. That's how an innocent apple becomes a $300 mistake. In some countries, it's even higher. So how do you stay safe? The fix is straightforward: never carry fresh produce through customs. Eat your snacks on the plane. Throw them away before landing. And when in doubt, always declare. Even if it feels silly, a declaration is better than a fine. Because in 2025, they're not playing games. Travelers are losing hundreds of dollars every single day over forgotten fruit, sandwiches, or granola bars with seeds. You dodged the scale. You outsmarted security. You even saved your perfume. But the game isn't over yet. Because the next rule doesn't come from TSA, it comes from the airlines themselves. And this time, the danger is hidden inside your luggage. You roll up to the counter with confidence. Sleek new smart luggage in hand. USB charging port on the side. Built-in GPS tracker. You feel futuristic, unstoppable. But then the agent checks the tag, flips the bag over, and shakes their head. "I'm sorry, we can't take this." Just like that, your trip begins with panic. Here's the hidden reason. In 2025, airlines have revived the crackdown on smart luggage. Not because of the wheels. Not because of the design. But because of what's inside: lithium-ion batteries. Anything over 100 watt-hours is now considered too dangerous to fly in the cargo hold. And if the battery isn't removable, your bag is automatically banned. No negotiation. Doesn't matter how much you paid for it. Why the obsession with batteries? Because lithium cells have been the cause of fires at 35,000 feet. And when a fire breaks out mid-air, you don't have time to land before disaster strikes. That's why airlines are paranoid. The problem? Most travelers don't even know how many watt-hours their battery is. Some bags don't label it clearly. And when an agent asks you for the number, if you can't prove it's under the limit, they'll ground your luggage on the spot. So what's the fix? Simple. Choose smart luggage with removable batteries. Keep a small screwdriver in your kit, just in case they ask you to pop it out. Or better yet, travel with external battery packs you can easily pull from the bag. As long as they're under 100 Wh, you're safe. It feels harsh. It feels like overkill. But this rule isn't fading, it's spreading. More airlines. More countries. More confiscations. So don't let your futuristic bag become dead weight at the gate. You beat the scale. You dodged the water bottle. You slipped past powders, perfumes, and fruit fines. But the next rule isn't about money, it's about your health. And it's something you can't even see coming. You settle into your seat. The cabin hums. Passengers shuffle around. You fasten your belt, thinking the hardest part is over. Then the engines roar. A deep, crushing wall of sound fills the cabin as the plane accelerates down the runway. For a moment, you think nothing of it. It's just noise. Ordinary. Harmless. But here's the truth, it isn't harmless at all. In 2025, studies show that jet engines at takeoff blast out between 85 and 100 decibels. That's louder than a lawnmower. Almost as loud as a rock concert. And you're exposed to it for hours. The result? Fatigue. Headaches. Ringing ears. Even long-term hearing loss. Ever wonder why you feel drained after a flight, even if you slept? This is why. Your body has been fighting invisible stress the entire time. Airport workers know this. That's why many are issued ear protection by default. But passengers? We're left exposed. And the danger doesn't stop at your ears. Prolonged exposure to noise this intense triggers elevated cortisol levels, your body's stress hormone. That means higher blood pressure, faster fatigue, and slower recovery after long-haul flights. So how do you protect yourself? The fix is simple but powerful: invest in proper ear protection. Noise-canceling headphones. Specialized travel earplugs. Even simple phone plugs cut exposure dramatically. pop them in before takeoff and keep them on through the roar. You'll feel calmer, recover faster, and step off the plane more energized than most of the cabin. It may not seem like much, but in 2025, it's one of the biggest overlooked hacks for frequent flyers. Protect your ears, protect your health. Because while fees and confiscations hit your wallet, jet noise is quietly attacking your body. And if that isn't enough to make travel harder, airlines have found yet another way to squeeze passengers. This time, it isn't about sound. It's about the weight of the bag you thought was safe, your personal item. You think you've outsmarted the system. Your carry-on passed the scale at the gate. No overweight fees. No arguments. You breathe easy. But then the agent's eyes drop to your backpack. Can you place that on the scale, please? Your heart sinks. Because in 2025, airlines have started targeting the last safe zone, the personal item. That trusty backpack, laptop bag, or tote you thought was untouchable is now fair game. And the limits? Brutal. 10 to 15 pounds. That's barely a laptop, a charger, and maybe a sweater. Go over, and suddenly your free personal item becomes a $50 or $75 checked bag. Why the crackdown? Low-cost airlines led the charge. They realized passengers were cramming everything heavy into backpacks to dodge the new carry-on limits. Revenue slipped. Now, airlines fight back with portable scales at the boarding door. If your bag feels heavy, it gets weighed. And here's the sting, unlike carry-ons, most travelers never weigh their personal item. Which means you walk in blind, and walk out fined. So what's the fix? Outsmart the rule. First, wear your heaviest clothes on the plane. Hoodies, jackets, even shoes with thick soles, on your body, not in your back. Second, use travel vests or jackets with hidden pockets. Every pound you shift to your clothing is a pound that won't tip the scale. And third, keep electronics in easy-to-grab sleeves. If an agent questions your weight, you can discreetly move an item or two into your hands until after boarding. It feels ridiculous. It feels extreme. But in 2025, airlines aren't playing. They've turned your backpack into just another revenue stream. You escaped the carry-on trap. You dodged the backpack scale. But your battle isn't over yet. Because the very device you rely on to survive long flights, your power bank, could now get you pulled aside. You're sitting at the gate, scrolling your phone. Battery at 12%. No problem, you packed your trusty power bank. Huge capacity. Enough to charge your devices 3, maybe 4 times. But then security pulls it out. Turns it over. Their face hardens. I'm sorry. This can't fly. And just like that, your lifeline is gone. Here's the hidden rule most travelers never hear about. In 2025, any power bank over 100 watt-hours is banned from carry-ons. The bigger ones, the ones marketed as all-day, massive, or airline-approved, often tip just over the limit. And when they do, TSA agents have no mercy. They'll confiscate it, no matter how much it cost. Why? Because lithium-ion batteries are volatile. Too much stored energy in one block is a fire risk at 35,000 feet. A single spark, and you've got smoke in the cabin. That's why the 100 WH rule exists, and in 2025, enforcement is harsher than ever. The problem? Most passengers don't even know how to check their power bank's watt-hour rating. And manufacturers rarely make it obvious. So when the agent asks, and you can't prove it's under the limit, you lose. So what's the fix? Split your power. Instead of one giant power bank, carry 2 or 3 smaller ones under 100 WH each. Together, they'll charge your devices just as well and pass inspection every time. Another trick? Look for models that clearly print 100 WH on the casing. That little line of text could be the difference between keeping it or watching it disappear into a confiscation bin. Because nothing feels worse than boarding a 10-hour flight with your phone at 5% and your trusted power bank sitting in a TSA trash can. You've beaten the scales. You've dodged the bottle. You've kept your powders, perfumes, and snacks safe. But now the spotlight shifts. Because even if your gadgets are small enough to carry, the very fact that they're electronics could still get you flagged. You drop your bag on the belt. It slides into the scanner. You wait, expecting the green light. Instead, the agent frowns. Your bag is pulled aside. Out come your tablet, your e-reader, your CPAP machine. Suddenly, your belongings are scattered across a gray plastic bin for everyone to see. Here's the truth, in 2025, electronics are one of TSA's biggest obsessions. It's no longer just laptops. Now tablets, handheld game consoles, even medical devices are flagged for extra screening. Why? Because dense wiring, batteries, and metal components confuse the X-ray machines. To the scanners, your innocent tablet can look like a block of circuitry, something that could hide explosives. And the rules have shifted. Forgetting to remove these items from your bag is almost guaranteed to trigger a manual inspection. That means delays. That means embarrassment as an agent digs through your things. And if they can't clear it fast, you risk missing your flight. The danger isn't in the device itself, it's in how it looks on the screen. That's why the fix is simple: preparation. Pack your electronics so they're easy to access. Keep them in a top sleeve or a slim travel pouch. When you hit security, pull them out fast. Lay them in the bin, clear and separate. Agents see everything, nothing gets flagged, and you're through in seconds. Another insider move? Carry only what you need. Leave backup gadgets at home. The fewer electronics you travel with, the fewer red flags you wave at security. Because here's the brutal reality, in 2025, every extra device is another chance to get stopped. And while delays cost time, sometimes they cost flights. So keep your electronics visible. Keep them simple. And keep them ready. You've beaten the scales. You've kept your bags underweight. You've managed your chargers and batteries. But the next trap doesn't sit inside your luggage. The next trap is hanging on your body. You dress for comfort. A hoodie. Loose sweatpants. Heavy boots. You think nothing of it, it's just your travel uniform. But then you step through the body scanner. The screen flashes red. The agent waves you aside. And suddenly, you're standing in socks while strangers pat you down. Here's the truth, in 2025, what you wear can betray you. AI-powered scanners don't just detect metal. They analyze shapes, folds, and silhouettes. Baggy clothes? They create suspicious bulges. Heavy jackets? They block the scan. Boots with metal shanks? They trigger alarms every single time. The logic is simple: if the machine can't see through it, security assumes the worst. That's why innocent outfits are causing unnecessary delays. And the consequences? Missed flights. Awkward pat-downs. Hours wasted for nothing more than a sweatshirt. So what's the fix? Dress smart. Travel in streamlined clothing that keeps your shape clear. Wear slip-on shoes or sneakers instead of boots. Layer light instead of bulking up with a hoodie. And if you need a jacket, take it off before you reach the scanner. The less suspicious you look, the faster you move. Here's another insider tip: avoid belts with metal buckles and jewelry that sets off detectors. Every beat means more scrutiny. And while you're digging through your stuff to remove them, your boarding time is ticking away. It may feel unfair. It may feel like overkill. But in 2025, your clothing isn't just about comfort, it's about strategy. One wrong outfit, and you're pulled aside like a suspect. So think of the body scanner as a stage. The simpler the costume, the faster the exit. You've beaten the scales. You've dodged the bottle, the powders, the perfumes, the snacks, the batteries. You even dressed to survive the scanner. But the next trap isn't about what you wear, it's about who you are. Because now, the machines aren't just scanning your bag, they're scanning your behavior. You think the scanning is over once your bag clears. You've survived the carry-on scale, the liquids, the powders, the batteries. You take a breath of relief. But in 2025, the real scan begins before you even touch the security belt. Because now, it isn't just about what's in your bag. It's about how you move. Every glance. Every hesitation. Every drop of sweat. It's all being watched. Airports around the world have rolled out AI-driven cameras that track behavior in real time. They're not looking for weapons in your pocket, they're looking for nerves in your eyes. A shaky hand. A sudden stop. An unusual gait. To the system, those tiny signals are risk indicators. And once flagged, you're no longer a normal traveler. You're a potential threat. That means extra questioning. Extra searches. Pulled aside while others walk past you. Imagine missing your flight not because of your luggage, but because a computer decided your body language looked suspicious. Why this sudden obsession? Security agencies know that technology catches objects. But psychology catches people. AI profiling is their attempt to stop threats before they even happen. Innocent or not, the software doesn't care. If your profile doesn't match normal, you're stopped. So how do you fight something this invisible? The fix is subtle but effective. Control your routine. Walk with steady confidence. Keep your movements calm and predictable. Avoid darting eyes or nervous fidgeting. Practice your routine before you travel, passport out, shoes off, liquids ready. The smoother you move, the less suspicious you look. Because in 2025, the machines aren't just scanning luggage, they're scanning you. And the penalty for failing isn't a fine. It's the humiliation of being treated like a criminal in front of hundreds of strangers. You've beaten the scales, the powders, the perfumes, even the fruit fines. You've survived the scanners and the pat-downs. But the final rule is bigger than all of them. Because now, even your passport, the one thing you thought you could rely on, may no longer matter. You grip your passport tight. It's the one thing you trust. The golden ticket. The document that proves who you are, where you belong, and where you're allowed to go. But in 2025, something shocking is happening. At more and more airports, agents don't even ask for it. Instead, you step up to a gate, look into a black glass panel, and it opens. No passport. No stamp. Just your face. Biometric boarding has arrived. Facial recognition is replacing the paper book you've carried for decades. On the surface, it feels futuristic. Smooth. Convenient. No fumbling. No lines. You look up, the system confirms your identity, and you're through. But here's the fear nobody talks about. Your face isn't just being checked. It's being stored. A permanent record in global databases, shared across airlines, governments, and security networks. Lose control of that data, and your identity isn't just in your pocket, it's floating across the world. And the risks? Terrifying. Mistaken matches. Travelers pulled aside because the system flagged the wrong person. Entire trips disrupted because of a database error. And once your biometrics are compromised, you can't change them. You can't get a new face. So what's the fix? First, know your rights. Many airports allow you to opt out of facial scans if you request manual processing. It takes longer, but it keeps control in your hands. Second, use trusted traveler programs that give you more control over where and how your data is stored. And third, stay informed. Rules differ by country, and ignorance won't protect you. Because the truth is, the passport may not vanish tomorrow. But the shift has begun. And travelers who don't adapt will find themselves powerless at gates where their own face becomes their boarding pass. You've beaten the carry-on traps. Dodged the liquids and powders. Outsmarted the fruit fines, the scanners, even the AI profiling. But this final rule is the most personal of all. Because in the age of biometric travel, your identity itself is the ticket. You've made it. 13 hidden rules. 13 traps that travelers in 2025 are falling into every single day. carry-on scales, empty bottles, powders, perfumes, fruit finds, smart luggage bands, jet noise fatigue, backpack weigh-ins, power bank limits, electronics checks, clothing traps, AI profiling, and now, even the passport itself. Each one designed to catch you off guard, to drain your wallet, to slow you down, to turn your trip into a nightmare before it even begins. But here's the good news, you don't have to be their victim. Because now, you know. You know how to weigh smart, pack smart, dress smart. You know how to dodge the mistakes that cost people hundreds of dollars, hours of time, and mountains of stress. And that's the difference. Most travelers walk blind into airports, hoping for the best. But you walk prepared, calm, confident, ahead of the game. So the next time you hear the metallic click of a baggage scale, or feel the hum of the scanner, you'll smile. Because you'll know their rules better than they do. And you'll breeze through while others get trapped. Travel doesn't have to be fear. Travel doesn't have to be stress. Travel can be smooth, efficient, even enjoyable, if you're smart enough to play the game. Now it's your turn. If this video saved you from even one of these traps, hit like. Share it with someone who needs it. And subscribe, because the rules keep changing, and I'll keep showing you how to beat them. And tell me in the comments, what's the craziest thing you have ever seen flagged at airport security? Because the skies don't belong to the airlines. They don't belong to TSA. They don't belong to the machines. They belong to the traveler who's prepared. And now, that traveler is you.